Welcome to my channel. Enjoy this video and subscribe my channel. Fantasy is a wide-reaching genre that covers an endless number of different worlds, but there are some special gems that I can never pass up watching on repeat. As a kid, some of my absolute favorite films were fantasy, or at least crossed over into the fantasy genre in some way. Just like in fantasy novels, there are several categories of fantasy, but all of them share an essential characteristic in common: the presence of fantastical things, whether the fantasy is set adjacent to our own world, or slap bang in the middle of it. It introduces elements of magic, wonder, and generally awe-inspiring events. These stories can be small, with subtle things that are different to reality, or entirely new worlds with new rules and conditions. But no matter what, fantasy is inspiring, it is creative, and it expands the imagination. Number 10. The Mummy. First up, The Mummy. A film starring one of my childhood favorite actors, Brendan Fraser. Having swung through his role as the goofy George of the Jungle, Fraser tackled a more suave and mature character when he appeared as the hero, Rick O'Connell, in The Mummy. Due to growing up in the 1990s, this movie became my Indiana Jones, and like the many people who probably became inspired to become archaeologists because of Harrison Ford, I developed a keen interest in the ancient because of Fraser. The movie sparked a whole franchise, and it blended together thriller action with fantastical intrigue that captured my imagination immediately. Today, it's great to look back on some of the highlights of Brendan Fraser's career, now that the actor is finally in the limelight again. In addition, the movie features some great comedy beats that help to lighten the tone when things get especially dark. Number 9. Fantasy movie. Pirates of the Caribbean. The Curse of the Black Pearl lean so much more into the comedy, along with an action-packed adventure story about pirates in the golden age of piracy. Captain Jack Sparrow is one of the most remarkable characters to ever come out of Disney, and Johnny Depp played the role perfectly. From the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, it was an instant classic, and it's no wonder it went on to become one of the most profitable franchises by Disney again. The beauty of these stories is their ability to blend elements and make them constantly engaging and entertaining. The fight scenes are brilliant, the CGI on the dead pirates was mind-blowing at the time, and the story is incredibly compelling. It's impossible to watch this movie and not root for the drunken buffoon that is Captain Jack, but despite his less than legitimate lifestyle, he's still the hero who stands up to the snobbery of the British imperialists. Number 8. Fantasy movie. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Potentially my first introduction to Tim Burton, despite Burton actually having very little to do with the finished product. The Nightmare Before Christmas is a wonderfully enchanting film perfect for the holidays. The film is based on a story by Tim Burton, which the director hoped to produce for Disney, but he was let go prior to developing it further. However, Disney retained the rights to his story, and eventually made it into a feature film when the director gained notoriety elsewhere. The film follows Jack Skellington, a resident of Halloween Town who longs for a life with more depth and meaning than his own singular holiday. Combined with the magical music of Danny Elfman, the movie is extremely addictive and fun to sing along to. While this movie tends to circulate again around Halloween and Christmas because of the themes, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't watch it at any time in the year. Number 7. Fantasy movie. Hook. Another favorite actor, Robin Williams, forever earned a spot at the top of my list due to his incredible performance in Hook. While I was already familiar with the story of Peter Pan, and I watched the earlier animated film from 1953, Hook was an incredibly novel take on the story. With Peter, a fully grown man who left Neverland behind many years earlier, he lost a part of himself in those magical memories. However, now a responsible adult, it takes time for Peter to come to terms with who he really is. Robin Williams was the perfect casting for the role of an adult Peter Pan because his remarkable sense of humor, physical comedy, style of performing, and every other detail made him feel like a kid who never grew up. He is frantic, wild, and hilarious, and in Hook, he taps into all of these elements to play a role that feels like it was written just for him. Hook taps into the inner child in all of us, and since Williams passed, it's only become more special and significant. Number 6. Fantasy movie. Going back to the Disney classic animated films, Hercules is my absolute favorite movie from that entire genre. As a kid, I wore out the VHS tape of this movie twice over, meaning we had to buy 3 separate copies in total. And while I should have gotten my fill of watching it as a kid, I clearly didn't, because I will watch it again anytime the opportunity presents itself. Stories of gods and mortals, overcoming insurmountable odds, and reaching your full potential all seem to resonate on a deeper level that keeps me coming back. And while the movie is fun, frantic, and wacky as a kid, with age, the hidden meanings and moral stories all become crystal clear. As a result, it still remains one of my all-time favorite movies, and one that I love to revisit with my kids now.